guys, welcome back to another week of building the Soleil rail. This week we're starting with the lifeboats, which there's two of. The instructions ask for us to do lifeboat number 2 first. I've had to look forward, and lifeboat number 1's a little bit different, so I'll complete this one, then we'll go on to lifeboat number 1. They come in their own little board, so we've got all the little bulkheads, railings that go around the side, and this template that we use to put it together, as well as some other bits and pieces, again already marked with lifeboat number 2. So all we're going to do is start with is just cut out the template. That's out. No need to clean up the tabs, because this will be cut off once the lifeboat itself is made. Then we've got I think it's WS9 they call it, which is 5 by 5 millimeter wood. They want us to cut 2 lengths at 180, and we'll be gluing those to the sorry, I just had to go quieten the dog. She's still a puppy and she doesn't like being left outside, and she can't come in here because there's too much stuff for her to eat. So as I was saying, we're just going to be gluing them on the bottom on each side, and that's just to hold it up, so when we put the bulkheads in, it's got room to sit through the template. So I'll just get some glue. I'll just use CA in this case because it's not that important, it's just holding it up. When I glue the bulkheads in, I'll be using white glue for that. Structurally it is stronger than CA glue, and each hole, notch, whatever you want to call them, are marked with the number that corresponds to the bulkheads that are on here. So the first two we need are parts 2 and 3. So I'll cut those out and then we'll continue. Okay, this is part 2. Part 2. It's a little bit like a sword actually. So let's put a bit of white glue on there. And then it curves that way, and then we have part 3 that will sit in front of it. Part 3 goes in. Actually, looking forward in the instructions, these are quite detailed. Probably should have put some glue where these join. Okay, so I'll let that dry and then we'll work our way along the rest. Next up we have this part 15, which has an angle on one side that goes towards the stern of the boat. So now when we put part 14 in, it'll actually go up against that slope on that edge. So this is part 14. Where the markings are across the back here, that goes to the rear of the ship. And probably help if I put some glue on there, as I just did. So that's it for the skeleton of it. We'll let that all dry and then we can start the planking. Next we just have to find the exact middle all the way down. Finding the front and the back one was reasonably easy, so I'm just now drawing a line between the two. So I can hold this still. Okay, we'll start with the planking. As I've started over this side, I've put the first plank on as the instructions show. So I'll be filming one side while I'm getting the other done off camera. The 3mm by 0.5mm strips are supposed to be lime wood, but my kit doesn't have any strips that match those dimensions. So I had some 3mm Soleil in my shed here, so I'm going to be using that. In the plans it actually has the bottom half being white and then the top half blue, but what I'm actually thinking I'll do is I'll paint the bottom white, I'll leave the Soleil, and then the railing that goes around the top I'll paint blue. I think that might look alright, and if it doesn't, well then I can just go over the Soleil in blue. So I'm using CA glue because it's difficult to actually get it to stick to the frames. Because I can't really get a clamp on there properly to hold this in place, so I need it to grip reasonably quickly. Going to start from the bottom of the boat. I think we do 4 planks and then we start coming up and we'll meet it from the top of the lifeboat. Okay, I've gone and added the third plank on here. It doesn't follow all the way through, it wants to curve up to this point, so I've actually shaped it to fit in to that shape, both at the front and the back, and we'll keep adjusting that as we go down if we need to. If as you pull the plank down it starts to curve up, then you just trim it so it fits in neatly. If I film all this, it's going to be an extremely long video, so I'm just going to go ahead, finish planking, as I said, just following the same process, and then I'll come back when we have one more plank to stick on the outside here, and then we'll cut the boat off. Okay, yeah, I followed the instructions and it didn't come out perfect. I had a few little gaps. I'm assuming it's my fault, it probably is. First I've built one of these lifeboats. So what I am going to do is follow the instructions now, and I'll be priming this, painting it white and blue. I won't have any of the wood exposed. And then I'll try and see what I've learnt from this one when I build the second. So anyway, what we have to do next, we get a piece of 3mm by 1mm wood here, and as I've done on this side, just around the top is where we'll be putting it. Okay, I've just fitted the very front of it. I had to wet this a little bit to make it bend around without breaking, but I needed to hold it right in front of me so I could line it up with the wood on the other side, so it was just easier to do it off camera. It hasn't told us what to do on this back part yet. I know there'll be a rudder, so I'm assuming when you put the rudder on we'll be planking this area, but it doesn't say to do that yet. So I believe the next job is to cut this away from this supporting structure that we built at the beginning. So I'll just get my saw and we'll do that. Just coming away just a bit below here, below the edge of the boat. This rear one we're going to have to cut all the way through that plank just below there. So I'll keep going with this and then I'll return once it's off. Leftover pieces we just take off with our snips. And then we'll be sanding this down. After that we'll be adding the heel bottom there. First part of the keel that's going on is part 17. Right at the start of the video, a second late. This is part 16 going onto the bow of the boat. I've got to paint the inside of the hull red, and then after that we'll be fitting a deck into the bottom here. They give you the measurements so you can cut it out on a piece of paper, and then you plank on the paper, trim it up, and then drop it into the inside of the ship there. Their measurements don't actually work. The rear end is correct, but at the back it's not quite right. So what I've decided to do is I'm just going to plank it a little bit further around the front, and then I'll just trim it up until it fits correctly. But first we have to get it painted, and I'm just using Artesania Latina's red that came in the pack for this ship. And you just paint the entire inside. She looks reasonably bright at the moment, but going by the pictures it should dry a little bit darker. So I'll go ahead, paint the rest of this, and then we'll come back and plank that deck. Like that deck, I'm just putting together the frame that it will sit upon or stand. So that'll be sitting on the deck on the ship once it's all ready. So I've got two 50mm long 1.5 by 3mm planks. So they just slot into those notches there. Just put a little bit of white glue on there. Just make sure they're sitting up square. So once that's dry, we'll be staining that in a walnut stain. And then next up we will plank this deck. I've already pre-cut some pieces of 1mm by 3mm decking, and I'm just going to attach it to this using white glue, and then I'll put some white glue between each piece of decking as well. Okay, that's one side done, so I'll get the other side done, cut it out, and then we'll come back and stain it. I've decided to do the deck in an old Baltic stain. She dries a little bit lighter than this. And then the stand I'm doing in a walnut stain. The stand I'll probably sand a little bit just to give it a more weathered look. That deck in, just glued it in place. The easiest way I found to do it was place it in and then put a drop of CA glue down each of the frames, and that seemed to do the trick as far as holding it in. Next up we've got part 22 that will be going in the stern of the lifeboat there. So just get some glue on here. just goes in like that. Then we've got a few more pieces to put in. Next up we have part 19, which just goes into the stern of the ship. It just slots into the frames on either side. Did a dry fit earlier, this one goes in really well. The one at the front not so much. I've already put part what is it, 18 in, because there's no way I could film it without my hands just getting in the way totally, so that just goes on the 6th frame from the front and the back, so it's exactly in the middle with the notch pointing towards the stern. And then we have the next up we have part 18, which I think that's what I called the last part, but that was actually 23. This just goes into the bow, same thing, lining up with the frames. This one doesn't go in nearly as well. But that's alright, because the slight gaps that are there, I'll fill those, because it's going to be painted around that top edge. Anyway, I think the problem is this frame across here is actually too close together. As I said, I'll fill that and fix that up. You can see it comes sharper at the front, so you can't push all the way forward. And I didn't want to shape this too severely in case I ruined it. And we have a grating to go over this front bit there. Okay, so that's basically halfway. We've still got a lot of details to add, a lot of painting to do. The whole hull has to be painted up. We've still got seats, ropes, we've got metal pieces that have to go on for the oars to sit in there. So there's still a lot of work to do, plus the rudder. So this is probably already quite a long video. So as I said, we'll leave it here and then continue in the next video. Cheers.